Today on Doug and Lisa, we kick off our brand new one-hour format with a look at showbiz with George Millar from the Irish Rovers, local radio personality Carly Fiddes, and Klaudia van Emmerik from Global TV, plus Randy Hahn, the voice of the San Jose Sharks. Also, we've got the comedy stylings of the Patton Twins and music from Erica Jane. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the exciting, new, upgraded version of the DL show. It's more like a old-time variety show feel. That's what we're going for.
Behind you here.
From the beginning, we kind of always wanted to have like music and entertainment and comedy and
sketches, just fun things, just like just the good old days before I was born. When,
I remember them, of
when
course.
Doug was 25.
Yes. Approximately, yes.
Just kidding. But no, we're going to have comedians, musical guests, so if that's something that you do and you want to be on the show, just let us know at facebook.com/Doug and Lisa show.
Yeah, so on today's show, kicking things off,
yeah.
We've got a show where we're kind of talking to some, we have our Hollywood sign up in the background. It's kind of a tribute to the sort of showbiz guests, I guess, on today's show.
Exactly. All about the showbiz. First of all, we're going to do the segment with Dragon's Den.
That's right.
We pitched our show.
We were so excited about the show that, getting more resources to make the show even bigger and better.
Money.
Yeah, money. So while the Dragon's Den producers were in town looking for the next big idea,
guess who crashed through?
Lisa barged right in there and, pitched the idea for the show. So coming up after the break, we'll have more on our continuing series of the catapult building competition that's currently taking place.
What are you doing here?
Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
I'm just doing the show. We're hosting Go from here. The Dragon's Den is here doing auditions.
What?
The Dragon's Den, where people pitch their ideas and they get money for fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is our chance, Doug.
What do you mean?
I'm going in.
What? Oh, wait. Lisa, we can't just go in. You gotta get a number. We have to get a number.
No.
All right, welcome to the Dragon's Den auditions. Let's hear what you got.
Okay, so it's a talk show, variety for the world to enjoy, and our show is like all about dancing and singing.
What?
Yeah, it's about.
When did that happen?
Well, it's gonna happen.
Okay, sorry.
So far, it's a lot of talking, but we want to have lots of dancing and lots of variety acts and different people coming in the show. We have everybody from athletes, entertainers, Doug. I'm
sorry, I seem to have missed the business proposition.
So how much are you looking for?
Like $1 billion, roughly. $1 billion.
$1 billion?
$1 billion.
For how much of your company?
What do you mean? Oh, for you.
They would get a.
Like 2%?
Okay.
Yeah. 3%?
Maybe more than
5,
that. They're not
7,
going to go.
8%. $1 billion is a lot of money. I know, and it's a lot of things that we need.
In a studio.
Studio.
Can you just articulate what the actual business model is?
Okay.
How do you make money?
Advertising, right? So if you have a talk show that everyone's watching, how do you think that anyone does it? Look at.
Why do you think anyone would want to actually watch your show?
Have you seen it?
You're not very prepared for this audition.
Well, I didn't even know you guys were here. I was walking by, and then they said that you guys were here.
Have you ever actually watched the show before?
I've seen your show at least a half a time.
I've watched it, and I knew you were here. I didn't know she was coming.
$1 billion might be a little bit high too.
$1 billion is a lot of money.
Half a bill?
Half a bill. Try a little lower.
Okay, can I have like $5 just for lunch?
I got lunch. It's okay. Thanks very much for your time, gentlemen.
Try again next year.
Yeah.
Don't. Thanks so much.
That was the worst I've ever seen.
That was the worst I've ever seen.
That didn't go so well.
What are you talking? That was amazing. They're gonna call us for sure.
You think so? After
No,
that? You asked them for $1 billion.
You have to aim high, and then they'll accept lower. You highball them.
Okay, I guess that might work, but I'm pretty skeptical. I mean, I think the show's a great idea. I just don't think $1 billion is reasonable.
I don't either. I don't actually want $1 billion, but then $100,000 doesn't seem so bad. If you
they might give us $100,000 just to get rid of us.
Yeah, and I'll take it.
We're keeping our phones nearby.
Yes, mine's right here. So.
It's always right there.
It's like attached to me.
Oh, she actually let it go for a second.
Well, your phone's right here, Doug.
Oh, man. Give it away. Also on the show, more fantastic showbiz highlights.
Huge.
Randy Hahn, voice of the San Jose Sharks.
He is in San Jose, but he got to start up in the Yukon doing the paw by paw for the sled dogs.
That's right, from Whitehorse.
Yeah, where we both...
We're both lived in Whitehorse at one point in our lives.
We're twins.
It's kind of freaky how much stuff.
He's got more than 30 years of sports broadcasting experience with everybody from the Vancouver Canucks, the Edmonton Oilers, and the LA Kings. For the last 17 seasons, he's been the voice of the San Jose Sharks. Up next, Randy Hahn with some advice on how to get started in the business.
This is pretty cool. Taking advantage of technology to talk to somebody that you've known for a while.
A Canadian, yes. Randy Hahn, he's the voice of the Sharks.
San Jose Sharks.
San Jose Sharks.
NHL.
The NHL, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Too cool for us.
No, we're that cool.
We're that cool.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Randy Hahn. Welcome to another season number 6 of Sharks Hockey here on 36 KICU. We are live at the tank.
But let's call him right now on Google Plus and see how this technology works. Hi, Randy.
Hi.
So Lisa tells me that you're from the Yukon.
Where the men are men and the Huskies are nervous.
So I was just telling Doug about how you used to do the paw by paw.
Yeah. As a friend of mine later called it, they still have a winter carnival in Whitehorse in February called Sourdough Rendezvous.
Right, I remember that from when I was a kid.
Themed after the gold rush of 1898 and all that type of stuff. So one of the big events, the climax is a dog sled race on the Sunday of Sourdough Rendezvous. And when it's cold enough and the Yukon River's frozen, which I'm assuming it is most of the time, the final part of the race is on the Yukon River and the finish line is right downtown. So I was still in high school and working part-time at the CBC in Whitehorse, and they decided to do live coverage on radio of the Sourdough Rendezvous dog sled race. And after you stand up on a hill looking at the rear end of dogs for about 3 hours, you figure it can only get better after this.
Can we get a little taste of what that sounds like?
I can't even imagine, and thank goodness no one has a recording of that, because it literally was the first live description of anything I ever did. So it was no doubt horrendous, and it's surprising that the station didn't lose their license as a result.
Well, one recording that they do have.
There's a commercial floating around on Facebook these days.
Hi, I'm Al Davidson, the sports director at CKNW. Ted Smith may run this place, but the sports department is mine. I have Jim Robson, Jim Cox, Tom Larscheid, Randy Hahn, Jim Hewson. Play-by-play Vancouver Canucks, play-by-play the BC Lions. Tell it as it is. CKNW Sport, or you miss it all.
Al Davidson and the NW Sports Team. One more reason CKNW is Western Canada's most listened to station.
Jim Robson was still the voice of the Canucks, the legendary Hall of Famer. Right. And Jim Cox was the voice of the BC Lions. And Tom Larscheid was the color commentator for both teams, all now retired. And Jim Hewson. And, of course, Jim went on to become the voice of the Canucks and later replaced Jim Robson, and now is obviously a major broadcaster in Canada. And I ended up down here in San Jose, so it was serendipitous way back then for all of us to be in the same room, and kind of strange that Jim and I worked together in those very early days of our career, and now we're both still in the NHL.
It looks just like a scene out of the movie Anchorman, right?
It does. It totally does. I had the Ron Jeremy look going.
That almost looks like a parody.
If you didn't know that was the real thing, you'd think that it was copying Anchorman, but I guess it's the other way around.
It is definitely a slice out of the 70s because it was the 70s. Let's just put it this way. They regrettably had to kill many, many polyesters to make my suit.
Now, I guess you guys have a history. Go right back to broadcasting school.
Yeah, when I was actually majoring in sports at SAIT, and Randy took me along to the game, the San Jose versus Calgary. And it's actually one of the reasons that I'm not a sports anchor, because I dyed my hair black so I could be taken more seriously.
Right, I can see that. That would work.
It didn't work.
Oh, okay.
And I was in the dressing room, and I was like interviewing the players, and they were just walking back and forth, like right in front of me, naked.
It's not for everybody, that locker room, dressing room experience. You know, even sometimes for us guys, I mean, there's some players, even to this day in the NHL, who actually get a kick out of parading through the dressing room, and they forgot the dressing part, completely naked. So it's a little off-putting when, you know, even as a guy, like you're maintain eye contact.
But on a serious note, advice for kids, you know, who are maybe wanting to explore the field. You went from the paw-by-paw to the play-by-play in the big time.
Yeah, so if somebody is interested in sports as a career, like, how do they get into it?
You have to have a passion for it, that's for sure. It's not something you can do if you don't like. I mean, we do 82 games, so that's important first to find out what you're passionate about, and if you're passionate about baseball or soccer or something else, then try and follow that. But I think getting a basic education is important first. The thing about it is practical experience, wherever you can find it, at a small little community operation, you know, volunteering where you're not going to get paid. Anything that puts a microphone in your hand, that's what I always tell people, because you can graduate from the best radio TV program in the world and have this shiny degree with a you know, a perfect A in every class, but if you can't stand up and actually deliver the goods on the air, then all that education is superseded by your nervousness on the air. So, and not being afraid to end up in what you might think is some small little crummy town to make your mistakes.
You know, I feel like a lot of people are unrealistic when they go into broadcasting. They think, oh, I'm going to just graduate and I'm going to work for TSN, but it's not like that.
No, you generally have to start small, a little bit smaller.
Yeah, like I went to Lloydminster, worked in a small station where I could make all my mistakes, you know, and...
Did you make all of them?
Oh, yeah, no.
You saved a few for us.
I saved a few for you.
You know, we still manage to do that sometimes too, because we're human and we make mistakes. But no, you're right, and you know, the main thing is you have to be comfortable in the environment, and that's not to say that I'm not nervous before every Sharks game, because there is a little bit of nervousness and apprehension. If it's a live event, there's no script, there's no teleprompter.
So like you said, everybody makes mistakes, but is there one mistake that still reverberates with you, that has left like a psychic wound that you wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat remembering?
Oh yeah, I've had my share of faux pas over the years, and 2 or 3 that come to mind I can't really repeat. Maybe when we're in a more private setting than here on the big wide World Wide Web and over the air, I'll tell you about it.
I'm going to hold you to it, Randy.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, Randy, for taking the time out to talk to us.
But before you go, I want to hear your best Ron Burgundy impression.
Hey, stay classy, Okanagan.
There's not many acts in the music industry that have lasted for over 5 decades. Up next, George Millar from the Irish Rovers explains the secret of their longevity.
Irish Rovers, your dream come true?
Oh my God, the Irish Rovers. I literally, if you follow on Facebook and YouTube, you know that I told Lisa about a dream I actually had where I got to sing with the Irish Rovers, and my pal here, my partner in crime, she made my dream come true.
Doug, you look terrible. What's going on?
I don't know. It could have been the whiskey. I mean, it might have been the gin.
It could have been the 3 or 4 6-packs, I don't know. But look at the mess he's in. My head's like a football. Well, I think I'm gonna die. Tell me, oh, my. Wasn't that a party? I think you had too many parties, my boy.
I think so. Holy smokes, this is so exciting.
Surprise! I mean, if I was the Irish Rovers, I probably would have had a protection order against you after the dream I put on Facebook, but they actually shared it, and they were welcoming us. Very good people.
George Millar from the Irish Rovers, fantastic guy, and he gives us some advice on our show.
Because they had the Irish Rovers show back in the day.
One was the daddy bear, one was the mommy bear, one was the wee bear. While they were out walking through the deep woods, stalking came a little girl with blonde hair. Now her name was Goldilocks, and upon the door she knocked, but no one was there.
Wow, I'm blown away. The Irish Rovers, I've been listening to you guys since I was like a kid.
Yeah, be careful.
Used to
I'm
watch
going to feel like your grandfather here.
Clean yourself up, Doug.
Clean myself up.
You're embarrassing yourself.
So you guys are on a tour now. You're 50.
We are 50 years, and people say, how long are you going to keep going? And we say, we haven't got a clue. We'll just say 1 year at a time or 1 day at a time, and that's what we've been saying for 49 years now.
Wow.
So we just keep going. As long as the people want to come out and see us, we'll keep doing it for a while yet.
And they do come out and see you because, like, you've sold out Kelowna here.
That's
pretty
wonderful.
much.
It's great. Yes, nice people here, and great town. I was walking around yesterday in the sunshine. Lovely, lovely place. You live in a lovely place. You really do.
So we were talking to your photographer earlier, and he was saying how well you guys all get along when you guys are on tour. Like, you guys were together for like 10 weeks last tour, and
Yes.
now this is a month tour.
It's about 5 weeks actually, and we all had dinner together last night. We went out to a restaurant. We had a great time, and if you want to ever know the success of a band, one of the things is you must like each other. It's like a marriage. You have to know when to give and take a wee bit, as we all have to do. And it's the same with a band. You have to know if you say good morning to somebody and they go, so you just sort of back off and let them have their space. That means they don't want to talk. And you learn these things after being in a band, and that's why we like each other. We like the music. Those are the important things of being together in a long-term band.
Well, and same with the talk show, because Doug, tell him how I make you say good morning, because he'll do that with me. He'll be like, good morning, and tell him what I make you do.
She makes me sing good morning, good morning. Or she won't talk to me. Set the
Is
tone.
she one of those ever happy people all the time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, that's good. No, okay.
No, but she has lots of energy and brings that
good.
to it, so that's good. You said you started when you were 16.
16 years old.
Did you
I
have
met.
any idea?
No. I was finishing up in school, and we thought we were making $25 for the weekend. Jimmy was 24, I was 16, so he could buy the cigarettes and the beer. We thought we had it made. We had all of these young ladies were coming up to us, and we were singing in these nightclubs all over Toronto. And into the bargain, $25 for playing on a Friday, Saturday. And I thought, my God, this is what I want to do. So we decided we'd give it a year. And my cousin Joe came out from Ireland at the same time, and he joined us because he was a great singer. We played around there for about 2 years. Then my brother Will, who was out in Alberta, we decided to go out, and he joined us. And that's when we sort of started saying, all right, well, maybe we will really give it a year. We'll all take off for a year, and we'll see how it goes. And we hit the road, and 49, 50 years later, we're still doing the same thing.
That's amazing. What do you
It's
think
lovely.
the difference is between bands starting 50 years ago versus bands trying to make a start today?
Well, there shouldn't be any difference at all. In our days, we didn't have any singing pubs. They were coffee houses with funny smoke in the air. That's all that was going on. There was no alcohol, really. So the bands of today have all of these great Irish pubs, or if they're country, there's all sorts of good country pubs where they can play. The thing with the band is you have to work at it. If it's going to be your craft, you better learn it, and you better learn the songs. Don't sing a song that you don't know what you're singing about. Enough and lot of people I've heard singing Irish songs about rebellions, and they haven't got a clue what they're singing about, and that disturbs me. If you're going to sing a song, make sure you know it. And so you have to learn the music, and you have to practice all the time. And you do, as a band, you have to stay really close together for the first probably 4 or 5 years. That you have to be in close quarters, and that's where it really turns out. If you don't like each other, it's not going to work out. Like, you hear these wonderful bands, and after maybe one hit or a really good album, they break up after 6 months, and they say, we had philosophical different music. And I say, for God's sake, didn't they know that 6 months ago when they got together?
Like living together, basically.
Yes, yeah, you have to do the hard times before you get some success. Now, some success can come easier. Some people get very lucky, and they can make it right away, and that's fine too if they're that lucky. But most cases, with most bands that you see, the Rolling Stones are still traveling after 50 years as well, and it's because they put in a lot of work. I mean, they might look like they're the playboys and they're drinking and drugging and everything else, but they're also very good musicians who work at their craft. Today, they still practice. So
it doesn't come easy.
No, it does not. No, not.
And you guys have a rehearsal coming up here. Like you're not taking off your foot off the gas.
No, we always rehearse, and we're always collecting or writing new songs. So you have to get together.
Because you've got a repertoire that must be enormous right now.
Well, it is.
Do you still find new songs?
Absolutely. That's the other secret too. When you're in a band like we are, I know what the people want, and I'm the same. When I go to see Gordon Lightfoot, I want to hear him sing the Railway Trilogy, and I want to hear him do the old songs. And the last time I saw him, that's right, exactly, Black Day in July. The last time I saw him in Vancouver, my wife and I, and he did sing those songs, and I'm saying, okay, I understand now why the people still want to hear the Orange and the Green and the Black Velvet Band. And so we do that in our show. We give them most of the songs they want, but we also, for ourselves as well, throw in new songs on every show, so that it always, the butterflies are still in the stomach after all these years. They have to be. You need that little edge. And if it's not there, then you probably should be doing something else. You shouldn't be on stage. But it doesn't matter if you're on television or if you're a writer no matter what you're doing in life, if you don't do it well, you're not going to enjoy it. So
You don't have
luckily
passion
we do.
for it, right?
You have to have a passion for whatever you're doing.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you guys did that variety show.
Yeah, you guys had a variety show. We're starting a talk show with a variety element, trying to add music and stuff into it. Have you got any advice for us that you learned from years of broadcasting?
All of those years was you better have a little bit of patience, as you know what it's like to be on television or radio, because when we did our little, for instance, our little skit was 3.5 minutes long, each one with little leprechauns. It used to take 12 hours to do that, just the three of us, Jimmy and Will and I. And everybody thought, well, why did you stop doing those? And we said, well, because it was taking 12 hours, and that's a lot of money in television. And so anything in television or movies, you have to have patience. You just have to, you can't get mad at the director and say, well, that was a good take, I'm not going to do it again. You have to do it again. If the director wants you to do it again, there's a reason why he wanted you to do it, so you do it, and that's what you have to do. But then at the same time, while you're doing all of this work, you say to yourself, well, hang on, I could be picking potatoes in Ireland, or I could be digging ditches somewhere, so maybe it's not bad sitting on my arse for 4 hours and waiting. Not bad at all.
Well, that's his editing. We're in the edit suite editing until sometimes midnight, and that's when you need patience.
Oh, I know. Well, you have to, and because you're doing something to for all time, and it's like when we do a record, you can't just say, okay, we're going in at 9 this morning and we finished at 3. It's not the way it happens. You might end up with a new song in the studio and be there for an extra 6 hours. That's just the way it happens. Studios are the same for you guys, so patience.
So going through the 50 years, what was the time in your career where you guys were like, wow, we've made it, this is amazing, and you guys reached your peak of like where you guys wanted to go with your band?
Probably during the TV years, only because we were meeting people like Johnny Cash, and in my case, Carl Perkins was with him, who was one of my boyhood heroes when I'm starting to play guitar, great guitar player. And when you meet people like this, and like Bobby Darin, who wouldn't... His very last show was with us before he passed away.
Really?
And he came out in a 3-piece suit, and we were standing there, and he saw us standing in these sweaters, and he went, oh, excuse me, I'll be right back. He went back in, came out in a sweater and a cap. That's the type of person he was. And you always hear about these people who are hard to work with. We never found one person in the whole 12 years of doing TV that was hard to work with. Get them away from the managers and their accountants and their bankers, and they're great people. So that's when I thought, this is not bad. Here, a little group like us from Ireland has Johnny Cash, who stands about this high over us, and it was like amazing to be in his presence. And he brought his whole family. Mother Maybelle was still alive, and June Carter was in that band. He brought like 15 of them. They were doing a whole review, and he brought everybody, and we paid him the grand total of $2,000 for doing 2 shows.
Wow, that's amazing. So
that's
kind of like for me right now.
That's what I was saying.
Like Johnny Cash was your idol. Now for me, meeting you, this is amazing.
That's very nice. Yeah.
He's serious. He's your biggest fan.
I had a dream. Okay, so because tomorrow we actually get to we get to hang out with the cast of So You Think You Can Dance. They're coming to Penticton, and we're going to go and do a little, hopefully get some dance lessons.
I don't need any. I'm really good at dancing.
That's what I've been told. But then I was thinking, well, the Irish Rovers are coming, and I've been a fan of them since I was little, and I thought it would be really cool if I'm going to try and learn an Irish Rovers song, and I thought Lisa and I would like sing, and then it turned into that they liked. We did a little song with them backstage, and they liked it so much that they called us up on stage, and we performed with the Irish Rovers at their big concert coming up in March. And then Michael Bublé, honest to God, Michael Bublé was in town again, and he was friends with the Irish Rovers because they're all from Vancouver, and he said, "Who's this Doug and Lisa? Maybe I can get them up singing with me." And we were singing with Michael Bublé.
Oh my God.
And we posted that on Facebook, and someone on your Facebook page said, "Oh, that sounds like our early TV show." So anyway, it's literally a dream of mine.
Just the fact you guys shared his
It might have been more like a nightmare rather than a
dream. It probably would be if you actually did get me to sing with you.
No, I'd love to do that someday if we ever get the chance.
So I wonder if it's possible, because I'm trying to learn guitar, and I like your music a lot, and I'm trying to learn some of the songs, and like "Star of the County Down" is the first song.
That's not. Here's another easy one I can teach you. There were fingers along the geese, some humpty-back cows and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. simple stuff, you see. 3 chords.
I love
3
chords.
My head's like a football. I think I'm gonna die. I tell me, oh, my. Oh, wasn't that a party? Yes, what a party. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Just how early do you have to get up, and how do you keep a positive outlook every morning? Secrets of Morning Radio revealed with Carly Fiddes from 103.9 Juice FM.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. First of all, congratulations. Huge
you.
fan. Super stoked for you.
Thank you.
Watch you guys all the time online.
We brought our only fan in today to be on our show, so she can tell you, the rest of you, how awesome we are.
There's
Yeah, so
more
if you're
of
a
us.
fan, there's a good chance we'll interview you.
Yes. So, Carly, you're actually the first person on the set of the new set.
Oh.
With that includes more of a variety show. So we
Yeah, we
have.
have music and comedy coming on the show
I
as well.
feel so privileged.
Yes. So you got any jokes?
That you can say on a family-oriented show.
Gosh, no,
little
not
bit of
at
pressure.
you. You're throwing me off.
I'm just going to throw you in the fire.
I'm used
We'll
to that.
make you come through the curtain later and you can tell a joke. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your job. I know I did a morning show for 1 month only. That's as long as I could handle it.
I can't believe, because I've talked to a few other morning show people, but I just can't believe, and I don't think that the audience out there gets, how early you have to get up to prepare for this.
Yeah, some days are worse than others. It depends on the day. If we have somebody coming into studio and I actually have to do my hair, I get up earlier. If I don't have to do my hair, I basically go to work in my pajamas.
So is this the middle of the night for you right now?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So you're talking like 3, 4 in the morning, right?
Yeah, around there. But I'm used to it now, so it's okay. And your days can be done early, so it works.
How long have you been doing the morning show?
Gosh, we had, when we relaunched, which was February 14th, Valentine's Day. So yeah, you're just over a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes you want to get up that early to go to your job?
Oh gosh, my co-host. He is one of the most spectacular people I've ever met, Joe. He's not here today because he has a soccer tournament. That, and as well our listeners. We have some frequent listeners, and they are just the most extraordinary people. The fact that they share their stories, they share their lives, it's just extraordinary to me. So truly, honestly, every single morning I get up, I am truly stoked to go to work.
That's
I'm
one of the
very
cool
blessed.
things about radio, is that it's so immediate, and so you can get that instant feedback from your listeners. Right?
100%, and we have an app which a lot of other stations in the Okanagan do not have. So we're able to converse with our listeners one-on-one more often than on Facebook or other forms of social media. So
Well, and you guys are all over social media. On Instagram, every time I go on there, you guys are everywhere.
we like to dance.
We like to dance.
Well, we're gonna have you guys on our show.
Dance parties.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Yeah, we had a dance party here with our intern Taylor just a couple days ago.
I'm a fan of Taylor.
Yes.
She's
T.
funny.
It's T, the intern.
You've taught her well.
Yes. So your career, where did it start and what got you into the whole field?
I was a ballet dancer for many, many years when I was younger. Wow. And I was always that crazy, weird child that my parents had to, Carly, get off the table, Carly, get off the chair. So I think I just like to perform at a very, very young age. I took broadcasting at BCIT, radio broadcasting. From there, I got a job at Q on the island in Victoria. And then right after that, I was really fortunate. I got to go to major market for the Beat 94.5, which actually just turned into Virgin as of yesterday, I believe. And then stuff happened, life happened, and when I moved back to the Okanagan, I was working in another radio station, and now I am where I am, on Juice FM.
And you love it?
Love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. You know what it's like.
I know.
We're like kind of born to do this.
Yeah,
right?
you have it in you. It's just, and people don't really get it. Like well, why don't you go work up in the rigs, or why don't you do that? That's where all the money's at. But you don't go into broadcasting for the money. No.
I think we all know that, don't we? Yeah.
You do it for the experience, the people, the passion.
And it's meeting people and connecting with them and finding out their stories. You just get fascinated by what other people have to say about their lives,
Yeah,
and it's
100%.
so cool.
Yeah, and my question is, when you went in, I know in broadcasting, when I went in, because I went into journalism, so it was TV broadcasting.
Right. So you're a little bit smarter than me.
Just
a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
All right, fair enough.
But no, you go into it and you have all these ideas of what it's going to be like when you graduate. When you were going into broadcasting school versus being out there and working as a morning show host, what was how you thought it was going to be versus how it really is?
That's a really good question. I guess I thought it was going to be, I would go to work, do my thing, and leave. And I learned very quickly that that is so not the case, as you guys know.
I got a cot back there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a lot of hours. I mean, long days, a lot of hours. I don't have a lot of weekends because I'm working most weekends. I don't really have a social life, to be honest, hence all the men that are knocking down my door. I don't have time for much.
Guys. Just kidding.
But I don't, you have to be fully dedicated to your job, 100%.
But it is social because you're there interacting with listeners.
It's
so
a different
it's kind
type
of
of
a
social.
party all day.
Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
like it's a party all day down here.
Right, Doug? We're dancing, we're having fun.
Absolutely.
What's kind of been the highlight of your career so far?
Highlight of my career. Gosh, this may be a cliche answer, but pretty much every morning. I think the fact that I was born and raised in this valley, so the fact that I got to come back and hear all the people's stories that we deal with every day. For example, we had one of our listeners, her daughter's very sick, and her daughter has a therapy dog. And the therapy dog got very, very ill last week. So she contacted myself and my co-host and reached out for help because the vet bill was so expensive.
I saw that on Facebook.
And just the fact that she reached out to us to help, and the fact that we can help and have that voice to somewhat make a difference, like the young girl in Penticton who's not doing too well with her cancer and she has to go to Texas.
So using your platform for good causes, because you can have a platform and use it for bad things, but in radio especially, there's just so many opportunities to use your platform to help people, to spread the word about different charities and things like that, and go to charity events.
100%.
Be on location for different events.
Yeah, 100%. I feel very fortunate to be able to do that.
What's the worst part of radio?
The early mornings. Some mornings.
I can't
It's not the greatest.
imagine that.
I honestly don't know if there is a worse part. I truly, truly love my job that much. The early mornings, the odd time is just, I can't do this.
Seriously, when I did the morning show, I would get up at about 3, cry for an hour, and then go to my work.
That sounds fun.
So that's kind of like when you come in here.
Yeah. Exactly. It's different now.
I'm rocking in a corner. Well, I have Doug. How could I not want to come to work when I get to work with Doug?
So you're obviously inspired by your job, and people that are watching this may be going, that sounds great. I would love to do that. So what kind of words of advice have you got for up and coming young wannabe radio hosts?
Oh goodness.
What should they know?
If somebody wants to get, and I think you guys can relate to this, if somebody wants to get into the world of broadcasting because they want the notoriety, they want to be famous, that's not going to work for you. No. That just doesn't happen. You cannot get into broadcasting with that kind of mode. You have to have true, utter passion. And the way I look at it, like we just spoke about, I feel very fortunate that I can pay it forward and have a platform to help others. And I think that's the most fortunate thing about my job. But yeah, if you're looking for money, success, notoriety,
look elsewhere.
It is not going to happen.
That's why only the strongest stay in.
That's
the rest
right.
get weeded out themselves,
It's so true. It's so true.
You need to have a thick skin and to, truck on, and that passion has to be on fire.
Yeah, well, especially when it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, you're at work.
Yeah.
That passion has to be
when
there.
When it's still dark.
It's just not going to work if it's not there.
Exactly.
So.
Well, thanks so much for coming on our show, Carly.
Thanks, guys. I'm a huge fan. Thank you very much for having me, and congratulations on all your hard work.
Thank you. Get your ballet shoes ready, because we're going to have you over there next time.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm holding you to it.
I'm holding you to it. Get your
you
shoes.
have the littlest hands.
I do?
You do not. All right. Thanks, guys. You know what they say.
No, what do they say, Carly?
And cut.
Up next, Global Okanagan's Klaudia Van Emmerik talks about how a chance encounter changed the entire direction of her career. Plus, we'll find out if Lisa's voice is up to the challenge of the new 1-hour format.
Okay, we are at Knox Mountain in Kelowna with the Klaudia Van Emmerik from Global Television.
I like that, the.
I know, I'm making you feel so special. Did you see that I posted that picture where I'm like, OMG,
yes.
it's Klaudia.
It's the Klaudia.
It's the Klaudia. See? So Klaudia, we're doing a whole show about people in the media. We did stuff with the Irish Rovers. We pitched our show for the Dragon's Den. We also talked to Carly from The Juice.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're just talking to people about is just the industry. So when did you go to broadcasting school? I don't want to age either of us. Where did you go to broadcasting school? And just kind of take us on a journey to like what inspired you to get into broadcasting and kind of the way you saw it versus the way it became for you.
That's a whole bunch of questions all rolled into one.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Klaudia.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I went to broadcasting school, years and years and years ago. I was going to University of Victoria at the time, and I actually was studying to be an elementary school teacher.
Oh, you'd be so good.
That was my passion at the time. And just before the semester ended, I had ran into a former coworker. I paid my way through university by working at a pub bartending, and this former coworker and I used to bartend together, so I ran into her on the street. And at that time, she was a legislative bureau reporter for a TV station called UTV back then. And so she was based at the legislature every day covering the political scene. And I had bumped into her and I hadn't seen her for a couple of years, so we had some catch up to do. And of course, I was fascinated. I knew at the time she was on television, so I started asking her about her job, and it just sounded so fascinating. So she thought, you seem really interested in this. Do you want to job shadow me? One day, and I said absolutely, even though I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but I thought I'm not going to pass up an opportunity. So the following week I went to work with her. I spent all day at the legislature. I watched her choose her story, what the big hot political story of the day was. I was in on the scrums, trying to crawl my way in and listening to all the interviews, and then at the end of the day I watched her put the story together, and her day ended with a live hit in front of the legislature. And I gotta tell you, I was hooked immediately, and the teaching thing went out the window.
Could you believe, though, when you went into broadcasting, how long it takes to do a story? I mean, when you watch TV before you go into broadcasting, you're like, oh, there's a 2.5 minute story, it's just quick and easy. But, you have to interview like 3 or 4 people, you have to get B-roll.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at school, I thought, okay, I need at least a solid week to put a news story together. I didn't realize in the real world, you'll have like 3 hours, sometimes less, depending on, how late breaking the story is. So it's
a lot
go,
of work.
go. It's a lot of work. And, everyone thinks my job is so glamorous. And of course, there's a glamorous side of it. I mean, I get my makeup done before the show. I get to put on fancy clothes.
Go to events,
do a little networking. And it's great. But I mean, there's a lot of hard work, as you know. I mean, we're dealing with constant deadlines every single day. You've got to line up your interviews. You've got to hustle. I mean, there are days that, even running off to the washroom is like 2 minutes out of my time. It seems like precious time.
High stress environment.
Yeah.
What I really love about you is that news reporters, people don't realize that you put in a lot of time and work and effort. You deal with a lot of hard subjects, like police officers do. And you're not just a pretty face, you're working your butt off, and you're in a high stress environment. So it can be a very negative environment sometimes because everyone's, at the crunch, but you stay positive.
Well, I try. And I have to. I have no other choice. But my mom always says to me, she can't believe still to this day, after all the years that I've been doing this, that I went into this field, because I'm a softie. Like, I'm a huge
That's
softie.
why
yeah. I'm so sensitive. I'll watch a commercial and start crying, right? So I don't know how I do it. I try and stay positive. I do a lot of positive things and remain positive outside of the job environment. But some days are really, really hard. And of course, many of your viewers will know that I'm a huge animal lover. And so, I promote them as much as I can. But, so doing stories about animal abuse, I mean, that is really, really tough on me. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't broken down on air and gotten, emails about it. Most of them positive. But
well, it shows that you're real, and that's what I worried when I got into broadcasting was, I'm like, is it going to steal my soul? Like, are these hard stories not going to be hard anymore?
Yeah, and you know what? No, and for me anyways, they're always hard for me. Yeah. And I mean, I'll never forget, my first job in TV was up north in Dawson Creek, and I will never, ever forget the day I was sent out to a fatal car accident. And I'm not going to describe, obviously, what I saw, but to this day, that scene remains very vivid in my mind.
The fact that you can be in this industry, and Klaudia, you got to know, like, what you see on TV is what you get. Like, you're the same person off camera.
And that's my biggest compliment, honestly.
And that's why, I want people to see that side of the broadcasting industry, and people that are, wanting to get into the industry, to see your example and to see, the difference you're making. And let's talk about that for a second with the animals. What got you into that aspect of your job?
I mean, I've always loved animals growing up, but the last few years I've become a bit of a fanatic about them. I'm absolutely crazy about animals. And I came to a point in my broadcasting career where, like, I feel that, when you are in broadcasting, that obviously, first and foremost, your job is to inform the community of what's going on. but I feel like we have such a powerful tool to make a difference, right? I mean, how many jobs you don't have a lot of jobs that are so high profile that you can make such a difference. And I feel like it's our responsibility to not only deliver the news, but make a positive change in our community. And I mean, there are so many causes out there, and I've been criticized, well, why are you not doing this for this cause or this?
She can't do everything.
I mean, I love so many causes, but animals just have a special place in my heart, and I do what I can. And so that's when I realized, like, I can use my job to make a difference in the lives of animals. So I, began by doing the Pet of the Week, and then the more I started getting involved with the SPCA, that just led one thing to another, and I do so many things. I dog walk for them, and I sell calendars for the Okanagan Humane Society.
Oh yeah, I owe you $10. Years later.
I MC events for them. I get locked up in a dog kennel every August, and I get so into it. I try and raise as much money as possible.
I pay to keep her in there.
Oh, thank you. Well, I got out, so you didn't pay enough.
I don't have much money.
So I just feel like it's our responsibility. I think all people, whether it's radio, print, television, whatever high-profile job you're in, I feel like it's your responsibility to just make a tiny little difference.
And use your platform.
Use your platform, and think about if every single person just did a tiny little bit, what a huge difference that can make, right?
So what advice would you have for people wanting to follow in your footsteps?
My advice for a young person getting into broadcasting would be learn as many tools of the trade as possible. Use technology to your advantage, because of course technology is changing so rapidly. I mean, the kind of things that exist now in journalism didn't exist when I was getting into it, right? And now I notice the new students are coming, and they know more than I do because they're learning it at school. So just be technologically savvy, if that makes sense.
It does.
Use technology as your friend. I think that will help you further your career.
Okay. And now, finally, what would be something that people wouldn't know about you by looking at, one thing I do love about you is your Facebook posts. You are the most positive person I've ever seen on Facebook. It's like so many negative things are out there, and you go on your page and you're like, Claudia's like, I love life.
I do. I absolutely love life. I have to say, I have a real zest for life. And we all do to a degree, obviously, but I just feel like you have one shot at it. You have one chance. Life is so short. Why make yourself miserable? Surround yourself with positivity, right?
Exactly. So
I want to be happy. I want to spend the rest of my life being happy.
Well, and you just recently got married.
That makes me very happy. And my husband has rubbed off on me so much, because my husband, he loves nature, for example, right? I mean, we'll be driving, he has to pull over because he sees a cool cloud. He loves trees, he loves insects, he loves it all, and it's rubbed off on me, right?
The
simple thing, yes, right? With different eyes. There's so much beauty all around us. And of course, life is full of challenges. We all have our struggles, but you have to stay positive and focus on the positive. There's lots of good as well, right? So.
And if someone in the news can stay positive, that's a really good example you're setting. I actually crashed Claudia's wedding with my husband's 93-year-old grandma.
I love that you crashed my wedding.
Well, Claudia, is there anything else about you that people should know?
Oh boy, I mean, there's so many things.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Do I have a hidden talent? No, I mean, I think most people know that some of the things. I was born in Poland. My parents escaped communist Poland back in 1981. Martial law went into effect. And I'm just so happy they brought me to this beautiful country and the opportunities. I would never be a news anchor in Poland, I don't think. So just so thankful to my parents. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for so much.
And you love the Okanagan?
Oh, I came here, Lisa, thinking I'm going to stay here for a year or two. It was kind of a stepping stone. You always dream of going to a bigger market when you're in this field.
They always come back.
They always come back. But I knew within the first year I was here, this is it for me. My heart is here. My soul is here. I feel like I've won the lottery. I mean, I'm doing a job I absolutely love in a place I absolutely am in love with. So why would I change that?
And you met the love of your life here too, so that helps.
So my life is just complete.
So what more can we say? Thank you so much, Klaudia.
Big treat for you guys right now, the comedy duo of Kyle and Amber Patton, the twins.
Hey everybody, I'm Amber, this is Kyle. Hey everyone, we do stand-up comedy, we're comedians.
Yes, we got a couple of jokes for you. First thing, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but up in Winfield, the city's trying to buy some land from CN Rail, which I think
it's gonna sound like a real...
What? You always got to undercut me on this, huh? I got my joke, I tell my joke, I put out the punchline, then you tell your joke, but you come in here stepping over my joke. Why you gotta do that?
No, we do half the joke each.
No, I do a
Pat
joke,
and
then
twins.
we alternate it.
That's what I was doing. I was alternating.
Yeah, but you're always doing stuff like this.
You're breathing in my
man.
face. You're
breathing in my face. I have to breathe. Have you seen my pickled egg jar? Have you seen it?
Oh,
They used to be full, and now there's 3.
Oh, I'm
3
sorry.
pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs aren't delicious. Yeah.
Well,
they're delicious.
I mean, we all know they're delicious.
Why? What are you gonna do? You're just gonna eat 3 in a minute?
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will eat 3 in a minute.
Oh, okay. Then eat 3 in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
You know why? Because I don't need you coming in here.
Yeah, I bet that won't be gross. Yeah. It smells like really soggy old chips, like dill pickle chips. I'm gonna puke. It's so gross. How does that taste, you idiot?
2, 1.
Hear about this? Winfield is gonna buy some CN Rail land. Oh, that sounds
And
like...
I think it's going to be a real train
You
wreck.
don't have to
be a-
do that. That's annoying.
I thought we were altering the punchline. That's what you said, right? That's what you wanted.
You're so gross. You have... on your face.
Look, just because I love pickled eggs more than anything in my whole life,
I've never had...
you don't have to come and
I've never had
start attacking me on a personal level.
I've never had to puke in my life. So guys, did you hear about this?
You guys heard about this? You know, over in Winfield, they're trying to buy some CN Rail land.
Rail land.
Which what do you think about that? I think it's going to be a real train wreck.
The Patton twins! Nice work. Excellent.
We're not done yet.
What?
We're not done yet.
We still have more jokes to tell.
We have so many more jokes.
We're kind of getting a little...
It's okay. We have more jokes to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, you can get out of here. We got a full hour that we're committed to doing.
Hey, wait. Did you hear about this?
What's that?
Yeah, did you hear about this?
Winfield is gonna take over some CN Rail land.
That's going to be a train wreck. She's the host of a popular weekly open mic night. Up next, local singer-songwriter Erica Jane drops by the studio to perform some of her original music.
Are you like me? For my next song is going to be another original. It's going to be a single on my CD. It's called Dragonfly. Fly, dragonfly, towards the sky, dragonfly, delicate wings, a strumming song against the air, and each day a new tune. So spread your wings and swoop upon life's pleasurable things. Can't catch her, you know why. Delicate illusions, they don't hold alone. And as she laughs on tainted glass, her reflection shows new form, strong balanced, and one with song. Can't catch her, you know why. Delicate illusions, they don't hold alone. So fly, dragonfly, towards the sky, dragonfly, fly, dragonfly. So fly, dragonfly, towards the sky, dragonfly, fly, dragonfly. And you can't catch her, and you know what. Delicate illusions, they don't hold on. So fly, dragonfly. So if you'd like to hear more of my music, you can check out my website at ericajanerockskelowna.weebly.com.
I feel like you're really close.
He is very close. And one more question, sorry. I know this is dumb. I do this
Record.
every day. Do I look at this thing at all?
Oh my gosh. Hair and makeup for Doug and Lisa provided by Shaper Salon in Kelowna.
Can I help you?
Yeah, but we can.
If you just fill out this volunteer form, you can come down here and help make fantastic television shows.
Awesome.
You need your blood.
No, we took that part out.
Well,